Hey guys, Corrie Jones here, Garden Girl with Two Peas in a Bucket, with the next installment of 213 and 2013, the Monday video series that by the end of this year you're going to have a whopping 213 creative prompts to help you get inspired to scrapbook. 213 creative prompts. I just can't even imagine having all of those listed in one place. I think it'll be so exciting to see them when they're all finished. My daughter recently lost her first tooth, and so she's been bugging me to get a page made for her about that. So that's what I'm doing today. First things first, though, the supplies. Most of the stuff that I'm actually going to be using today is from the new Maggie Holmes line. Of course, I'm going to use some of these L Studio tags, some rub-ons from Jenny Bolin, some little tags from Pink Paisley, but for the most part, I'm going to dive right into the Maggie Holmes stuff. It's just so cute. And for my prompts, one is to cover your background, two is to use rub-ons, three is to change it if it doesn't work, and four is to add flowers. I typically like to have a lot of white space on my layouts, but with these frames, I decided that I really wanted to use them. If I only used one to put around my photo, I probably would let the other one sit in the package until I had forgotten about them and then would never use them. So I decided to actually use those as a design element on my page and to basically cover my entire background with these little frames. There are some pattern papers out there that already do this. I think Amy Tangerine has put some in her collections, and it's a really cute look. But I love the dimensional effect of these little canvas frames, and so I wanted to try and use up as many of them as I possibly could by covering up my white background. I didn't want the frames to just show plain white paper behind them, so I'm using some of the Maggie Holmes photo overlays to fill in some of the white space back there. They've got a nice, subtle little bit of color and a little bit of design, and so they look really cool on the white background. Other ones, though, I'm not going to just use the overlays. I'm going to actually add pattern paper to them and other different things to get them really to show up nicely. I love this paper pad from Prima. Prima's not typically a company that I get things from. I love the flowers, but I don't use them enough to actually buy them. So when I saw this paper pad, though, it's just perfect colors. I love these colors, the pink and the light blues and stuff like that, so I had to get it. And then this, I'm attaching the pattern paper underneath the overlay too. So the overlay is over the pattern paper with a adding just a little extra color to the design, and then I'm cutting it out. One thing that I do when I fill frames in and do things like this, do these layers, I don't worry so much that my lines are perfectly straight. That's just something. Actually, I think I probably look more to make sure they're not perfectly straight. That's just, I don't know why that works for me, but it does. I know it doesn't work for everybody. People like things graphic and they like things lined up, and that's awesome. Me, I just don't even worry about it. And I don't know if you've tried the hot glue as your adhesive of choice, like I've switched to for the most part, but I love it. And just any old hot glue gun really will work. This is one of the low heat guns. Somebody's asked me about that. This is just one of the low heat guns. Nothing special. Now it's time to use rub-ons for the first time. I'm so glad that rub-ons are sort of making a comeback. The Jenny Bolin ones are awesome. They stick really, really well, and they've just got a great design. I love the gold, and it works so well with the Maggie Holmes gold. Now, this one was too big to put directly on my frame, so I just went ahead and adhered it straight to a sheet of white cardstock, and then I'll cut that out and use it on there. It makes it even a little bit more dimensional, which is kind of fun. But then I can get the whole on the frame that I want it to be on. I went ahead and hot glued it right on this frame, and you can see that it sticks off the edge just a little bit. Later on, I'm actually going to trim off the little banner side that does stick off the edge because it ends up sticking off the edge of my paper. So I'd had all these frames completely covering my background paper, and when I went to go put them back together, you know what, something just didn't seem right. I couldn't get them laid out the same way. I sometimes I'll take a picture with my phone so that I can remember how I had it laid out, and I didn't do that this time, and you know, it just ended up being like a little bit too congested for me with things overlapping so much and, you know, a zillion frames on there. So I decided that, you know, it wasn't working for me. So I needed to change it up a little bit. And so this is what I have to do. As I'm laying these frames out and covering the back of them, I just decided that it was best if I changed the design, and it ended up becoming a little bit more of a grid. And actually, I think the grid works better. It still covers my background paper for the most. I was able to just add in some of the overlays on their own, and I was really happy with how it looked. To adhere the overlays, I didn't want to have any adhesive showing, so I did just stitch through the tops just a little bit with my sewing machine. And then everything else as it gets put down will actually help just keep those things in place. Something else I didn't like once I got going was the black and white frame around this picture of her. I just felt like it was a little bit too bold, especially with the black and white picture. So I did change it to this little pink one, and I like it so much better. I like these color wash tags, especially this one that says True Story. So I'm going to go ahead and use that too, but I'm going to cut it so just the words are coming out. I don't need the whole tag, it's too big. So now that's on there, I can go ahead and just staple it in place. And now I'm going to add flowers. Not only these larger flowers, but I'm also going to add some of the enamel flowers. Flowers is definitely not something that I typically use because of my inability to use circles well, but I figured this layout was really calling for them. Plus, I don't know, this Maggie Holmes stuff is just so cute. It was really speaking to me, and I really wanted to try and use it. My title on this page is going to be First Tooth, and although these stickers are pretty good at sticking down, I wanted to make sure that they were adhered for life. So I did go ahead and add some hot glue. Plus, this second O is actually sitting on top of the other two, so I didn't want it to get bumped and get knocked off. I'm going to add my girl's initials. This is from the Prima paper pad. And now I'm going to go ahead and get my photo adhered so that I can start embellishing this page. I just put a little glue right in the center of the photo. I had already added some foam dots to the sides because I wanted to make sure that the sides popped up some. So I just adhered it in the center and then took the little adhesive things off the pop dots so that it would stick up on the edges. Embellishing a page is one of my favorite things to do. And I've got a ton of stash, which we all do, don't we? We like to buy. Some of us are even better buyers than we are scrapbookers. But there's no reason why we shouldn't just use as much product as we want to our heart's content. I mean, it's fun. I know not everybody likes that, but that's really why I do it, because I've got it, so you might as well use it. And it makes me happy to have fun bits and pieces all over the page. You know, it's not just memory keeping, it's also having a good time and being artistic in a different way. This little brad that I'm adding says yes, and when you put it right above the little tag, I love how the words all come together because then it ends up saying, yes, this was a good day. And it was for her. Oh my goodness. She was so excited that she had lost her first tooth. She's sitting there going, it only took 7 years. I think she was maybe the last kid in first grade to have lost her tooth. For my journaling, I am using the American Crafts Slick Writer. It wrote perfectly right on top of one of these photo overlays. I didn't have a single problem with it, and it dried very quickly. My one little blue flower seemed kind of lonely and out of place on this page, so I wanted to add in another flower or two. Using the other small one proved to be no problem for me. However, just the thought of using the other ones that are so large was just too much for me to handle right now. So I'm trying to balance my page using other elements. See how that goes. These Maggie Holmes clips are super cute. I love them, but they really just didn't add the needed weight I needed to balance out these two flowers. So I did decide, okay, that's a perfect spot for them. It's like my journaling curved around at just the perfect angle. And so I did add the pink flower right there. These little Amy Tangerine bows I think are super cute. I did want to cover up the words that were already on this on the frame because they didn't really go with my layout, so the little bow was the perfect thing to cover it up. Now I'm just adding in a few of the Maggie Holmes enamel flowers. They're small and adorable and great colors. And then these confetti rub-ons from Heidi Swap. I wanted to add just a few of those, sort of to match the little hearts in the one frame. So I just added the little stars here and there, not too many, just a subtle little confetti look so that it all kind of worked together a little bit. And then I'm going to add these word stickers. I love these word stickers. I didn't think that I would always like these so much, but the more and more I see them, the more I enjoy them. So I put two together to say great times, and then I added one that said beautiful. I'm also going to put in one that says smiles, since she's smiling, and then today, because it's all about today, well, the day that she lost her tooth. Another one that said celebrate. Then I'm using some more of these stickers just to create an extra little banner. It's something that was already in a part of the frames, but I wanted to add a little bit more up at the top. The last thing I'm going to do is add these stickers that just say remember today. I'm sure she will. And that's it, guys. So remember, my prompts for this week are to cover your background. Don't leave a bunch of blank white space. To use rub-ons. To change it if it's not working for you. And to add flowers. My challenge for you is to use any of these prompts and share your layout with us in the gallery. This is Corrie Jones, Garden Girl with 2 Peas in a Bucket. I hope you have a wonderful week.